Well now, here is something that still amuses me after years of living out here in rural Thailand. School uniforms. Every morning, just after the sun has properly cleared the trees and the village dogs have stopped barking at absolutely nothing in particular, you will see parents driving or motorcycling their children to school, many students go in minibuses, and some kids walk to school. And every single one of them is wearing a uniform. Now, for me, an old English git, school uniforms were normal in Britain, and I cannot truly understand why they are controversial today while most of Asia still embraces them. The answer to that begins in Tudor London, but the real reason actually appears much later. Now, back to the uniforms. White shirts, dark skirts or shorts neatly pressed, shoes polished, hair tidy, the whole lot. Nobody argues about it. Nobody debates it on television. Nobody writes newspaper columns demanding the abolition of socks. It is just school. However, back in Britain, the subject of school uniforms has once again become a surprisingly fierce battleground. Should children wear blazers? Should ties be compulsory? Should pupils be allowed to wear trainers? Should they be allowed to wear whatever they like? Then there are the endless discussions about identity, comfort, expression and individuality. Listening to these debates from a veranda in Isaan can feel rather like watching an argument about whether gravity should remain optional. Nevertheless, by the end of this video you may see the school uniform debate in a completely different way, because here uniforms are simply part of how society works. Nevertheless, the interesting question is this: why did the West start questioning uniforms at all when most of the world still accepts them without much fuss? To answer that, we need to go back quite a long way, back nearly 500 years in fact. One of the earliest school uniforms in Britain appeared at the charity school known as Christ's Hospital in London. It was founded in 1552 during the reign of Edward VI. Now, despite the rather grand name, Christ's Hospital was not a hospital at all. It was a school for poor and orphan children. Besides, the pupils were given a distinctive uniform, long blue coats and bright yellow stockings. Not because anyone thought it looked particularly stylish. However, it was because blue dye happened to be cheap. The idea behind the uniform was simple. It identified the children as belonging to the school. It removed visible differences between them and it encouraged discipline. Interestingly enough, students at Christ's Hospital still wear a version of that uniform today, which means the tradition has lasted nearly half a millennium. From those rather humble beginnings, school uniforms gradually spread. By the 19th century, prestigious schools like Eton College and Harrow School had their own distinctive dress codes: blazers, ties, waistcoats, polished shoes. Uniforms became symbols of belonging, prestige and tradition. What's more, when Britain expanded its national education system through laws like the Elementary Education Act 1870, many ordinary schools adopted uniforms as well, partly to create order, partly to promote equality. Besides, if we are being honest, to imitate the elite schools. By the earlier 20th century, the sight of children in school uniforms had become completely normal across Britain. Then something rather interesting happened. The tradition travelled across the British Empire and beyond. Many countries adopted similar school systems, including uniforms. However, while Britain gradually started questioning the idea, many Asian societies embraced it wholeheartedly. Take Thailand, for example. Here, uniforms are everywhere. School children wear them, university students wear them, government officials wear them, office workers often wear them, even security guards at the local 7-Eleven seem to have a uniform for every possible occasion. Uniforms here signal something important, belonging to a group. Besides, that reflects a cultural emphasis on social harmony and shared identity. The same pattern appears in places like Japan and South Korea. Students wear uniforms not because they are forced to in some oppressive sense, but because it's simply how school life operates. It signals that everyone is part of the same community. Meanwhile, back in the West, something else was happening. From the 1960s onwards, Western societies began placing far greater emphasis on individual expression. Clothing became one way people signaled who they were. Identity, personality and self-expression started to matter more than conformity. Besides, gradually that cultural shift found its way into schools. Some students began questioning why they should all dress the same. Why should they not express themselves through their clothes? Why should schools decide what they wear? From that point onwards, school uniforms became not just a practical matter, also a philosophical one. Supporters argued that uniforms reduce social competition. If everyone dresses the same, there is less pressure to show off expensive brands or fashionable clothing. Uniforms can also encourage discipline and sense of belonging. Critics, however, argued that uniforms suppress individuality. They claimed schools should allow students to explore their identity rather than enforcing strict dress codes. So the debate continues. Should schools prioritise equality and discipline, or individuality and freedom? Meanwhile, here in Thailand, most people seem slightly puzzled by the whole argument. Uniforms simply make life easier. You wake up, put on the uniform, and go to school. No daily fashion decisions, no competition over designer trainers, no arguments about whether the hoodie is appropriate. Just school. Another interesting difference concerns physical education. In many Southeast Asian schools, students simply wear their sports uniform for the entire day when they have PE. No awkward changing rooms, no frantic rush between classes. It is practical. Yet, in many Western schools, the ritual of changing into PE kit remains strangely sacred. One of those traditions nobody quite remembers the reason for. Which brings us back to the deeper purpose of school. Because beyond maths lessons and grammar exercises, school teach something else entirely. They teach young people how to live together, how to cooperate, how to follow shared rules, how to function inside institutions. Uniforms are simply one small part of that process. They remind students that school is not just about the individual, it is about the group, which perhaps that is why the uniform debate feels so symbolic. It reflects a wider tension between two ideas about society. One emphasizes personal freedom and individual expression. The other emphasizes shared norms and collective identity. Neither is entirely right or wrong. Nevertheless, different cultures lean in different directions. In Britain today, the conversation continues. Some schools relax their dress codes, others maintain traditional uniforms. Besides, every few years the debate flares up again. Meanwhile, here in rural Thailand, the morning scene repeats itself. Children cycle or walk to school, white shirts, neatly pressed uniforms, a quiet sense of order. Besides, if you ask most of them why they wear a uniform, they would probably shrug and say something very simple. Because it is school. Also, sometimes the simplest traditions are the ones that survive the longest. Now, Be honest, do you now see the school uniform debate in a completely different way? Let me know in the comments below and hit the like button for good luck. Take care and keep your uniforms clean. Yes, we all have them, even if you think you do not. Bye bye.